I'd like to introduce you to the first of our studies, which is looking at the efficacy of graminicides and the effect of adding broadleaf mixing partners. And so what we're looking at here is antagonism, efficacy and crop selectivity. These were sprayed on the 22nd of July. What we're looking at here is as we go through the different trials, is the target species of the grasses, so graminicide, and its growth stage. So this first timing was oats at 1 to 2 tillers, as were the ryegrass. So it was 1 to 2 tillers. So it's really these 6 beds of crop. We've got chickpeas, fabas, ryegrass, oats, mainstar, Sub-Zero, and your bank of canola. So that's to keep an eye on those targets. So they're the indicator weeds. We've got the crops at the back there. And we can talk about that. So that was sprayed on the 22nd of July. One thing with these matrices is the importance of crop competition, and herbicides they have their impact, but the role of being in a competitive crop and closing out that efficacy is really important, and it's so evident here when you have these matrices and the different herbicide combinations going over them. So the role of that weed being sprayed within that canopy of that forage cereal is really important to outcompete it for light and obviously moisture and nutrients. This year, moisture competition has not been an issue. We've had plenty of rainfall in crop this year. So the first of the graminicides we're going to focus on is Rexaid. So what is it? It's a combination of Arylex and pyroxalam, and it's got a crop safener called cloquinticid. So the focus of this really is about one pass weed control. So get in the tank and do it once. So Rexaid, which is the graminicide of focus, is best on small fresh weeds. So we're looking at small grasses early in the crop growth cycle. For best results, we want to have moist soil where we're getting rainfall soon after application, say within a day. So, because this facilitates the movement of the active down into the roots, so it's absorbed by both the foliar and also by the roots. Let's go and have a look at the plots. So we're here in treatment 3, and this is Rexaid plus MCPA LVE. So as we can see, that the oats and the ryegrass has been pretty well controlled, and adding the LVE in is done a really good job on the forage brassicas and the clearfield canola. So it's always best to mix MCPA LVE with Rexaid when you're going to go out, because it just closes the gap on those weeds. So we're in treatment 4 now, which is Rexaid, Starane and MCPA LVE. And the reason why you're putting that is to close the efficacy gap on climbing buckwheat. So in this plot here, we can see that climbing buckwheat is coming through. So the beauty about Rexaid is that you can add those herbicides to the mix and not really affect your efficacy on your grasses, but you're controlling your climbing buckwheat. In this section of the graminicide trial, we're looking now at mixtures with Axial Extra from Syngenta. We're going to focus on Trizac. Trizac's a mixture of aminopyrrolid and Arylex, and it was first launched last year in July, so this year's really been the first full year of use. What we're going to investigate here is the value that it offers, being crop selectivity and low antagonism when you're mixing with grass herbicides. So the plots of focus to start with are Axial Extra by itself. And as we can see, if you believe it or not, these are 2 beds of ryegrass and oats. So we've got a solid population of the broadleaf weeds, as I outlined earlier. So the herbicide we rated at 90% control, and it's obviously done a good job, but the weeds have outcompeted it as we've progressed later into spring. What I'd now like to show you is the addition of Trizac to Axial Extra, remembering that with Axial Extra we're relying on the inbuilt adjuvant system. What we can see here is that actually oat control picked up on paper versus the straight axial, but we're seeing no antagonism when you're adding Trizac to Axial Extra. Of course, this is why with the Trizac selectivity to the brassicas, we must add in MCPA LVE. As we saw in plot 8, is treatment 8, which was the axial Trizac. There was no antagonism. I'm standing here in plot 10, and this is axial Trizac Pikaflex as a mixture. And the really pleasing thing to see is that there's no antagonism expressed at all. Again, it's selective to the forage brassica and the canola. So it's really quite pleasing to see that we can mix these two and we're not getting any antagonism.